Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's uLaw webinar. The webinar topic for today is getting started with uLaw. It's essentially a quick walkthrough of the ulawpractice platform, the top essentials that we would like for you to take back home in terms of how you can get started with the uLaw platform, or if you're a current user of the platform, how best you can maximize the use and the benefit of what the platform provides to you and your legal firm. The webinar for today is not accredited for any CPD credits, but we are going to be having our CPD sessions next week. But hope that quick and easy functional walkthrough of the overall uLaw platform. Okay. I want to be able to set the stage in terms of kind of who we are, what we do. So we are a Canadian company. We've been serving Canadian legal practitioners, solo practitioners, as well as small to medium-sized legal and law firms for the past 11 years. Situated out of Ottawa, we essentially like to call ourselves as a cloud-based practice management, legal accounting, and a business accounting software. So these are the three major building blocks of the overall platform. And essentially what we're looking to solve, the problem that we're looking to solve is, given the life of a legal practitioner, there are many different aspects and many different requirements that you have when it comes to managing your business, managing your clients, managing all of this data and information, all with respect to a certain compliance background that's always set by the law societies across all provinces, right? So if you look at various different compliance needs, right from your financial accounting to client management, so there's quite a few of those compliance requirements that you are most certainly required to produce documents and data. And in addition to all of this, you also have a business to run. You have to manage your office expenses, and sometimes these expenses also intertwine with your client-related expenses. So we wanted to provide lawyers, legal practitioners across Canada with a single platform that can pretty much provide a solution or a platform that can take care of these important aspects of your business. And that's why we built the overall uLaw platform, which is a legal accounting engine and a practice management user layer, in addition to having its own business accounting functionality. So with us, essentially, you don't need another third-party accounting software to just manage your office expenses. And the fact that we're in the cloud makes it easy for us to scale and provide that advantage to you as our client, making it cost-effective, making it, of course, everyone's heard of this new acronym, anywhere, anytime, any device. So the advantages of having the internet by your side, you're able to access information wherever, whenever you need it. And adding to this overall cloud platform, we've also recently updated and upgraded our respective uLaw apps, both on your Android as well as your iOS devices, making certain features and functionalities quick and easy for you to be able to do it right from your phone without even having to walk towards your laptop and actually do the complete functional aspect of uLaw. So you have both a web-based platform that also complements a growing app that we provide. And so that's really the platform, the way it's laid out today and what it's meant to do. Okay. Automated legal accounting allows for all of the ledgers and journals and the compliance documents to be generated at a click of a button. And I'm going to run through this real quick. I don't want to be able to bore you with this slide share, but just to set the context for what I'm going to walk you through the next 45 minutes in terms of the product demonstration. So we looked at a day in the life of a legal practitioner and the many different aspects that she or he has to do, or this firm has to do, to manage their information. Right from engaging with clients, so starting with your website, your different digital presence, right, to being able to perform compliance-related activities such as conflict checks, being able to appreciate and understand the boundaries around how you manage trust and retainer funds, the boundaries that you have with regards to the compliant ways in which you draw money from retainer or transfer the eligible amount into your general account, or if it's just an activity out of your general account, of course, you have to work on your invoices. You have to finish your dockets, your work that you actually can show for to reflect in these invoices. Generate these documents, send it to your clients, and of course, after the complete work has been done for that specific matter, generate all of the closing documents for that matter and essentially close out that matter, right? So from I call this day-to-day within the life cycle of a client matter relationship. Of course, in addition to this, in terms of managing your business, you have to manage your office expenses. You have to manage the personnel in your business. You need to manage for all the professionalism credits that you need to keep up to date in regards to your business as well. And what we've done essentially as part of our product feature is try to encompass all of these different aspects of the requirements that you have on that day-to-day need into this single platform. So uLaw today offers you a single solution or a platform that allows you to manage your client and matter information on the cloud. It gives you automatically the Law Society compliant-based documents, including reconciliations, ledgers, and journals. Given that data in is data out, so the way we are able to generate these reports, a prerequisite, of course, is the fact that you are able to provide the right data and enter the right data at the right time for us to be able to facilitate these automatic generations of compliance documents. We manage your client billing and accepting of payments. We also today integrate with third-party payment gateways, making it easier for you to accept payments right at the time of the transaction. Because we're a complete business accounting software, we also allow you to manage your expenses, your reconciliation or your monthly trust and general compliance documents, including the ones that you owe the CRA, whether that's your provincial, HST, GST, PST filing documents, your tax documents, your revenue, expense, your profit and loss, all of that is built right into that same platform. And the final two aspects that's very important for you is to draw information out of the system. So there's a complete reporting capability built right in. It's right within the context of what type of reporting that you're looking to generate. We integrate with third-party document management systems, making it easier for you to store these digital documents as a trail for your audits. And last but not the least, with the app, we're able to provide you deep dive analytics both on the web platform as well as just-in-time analytical dashboards on your mobile phone. Okay? So really wanted to set the context kind of who we are, what we do, and jump right into the product itself. For those who are just joining us and don't know who we are, as I mentioned, we're based out of Ottawa. We've been in this now for about 11, 12 years. Please do check us out on our website, uLaw.io, and we do offer a no obligation 30-day trial for you to explore what this platform can provide. Now I'm logged in, so when you do sign up for the uLaw platform, we provide you with a very unique username and default password, which you can later change within our settings. We're 256-bit encrypted, so bank-grade security. We've invested heavily into two-factor authorizations to validate even the device that you're using for extra security. And also, like everyone else, we've definitely invested in the CAPTCHA to ensure that there are no robots or bots that are attacking your data. Safeguarding the data is our primary concern. And last but not the least, all of this data is very much based or located in the country here in Canada, across Ottawa and Montreal. Okay? Okay. Just going to take a quick minute to bring up my annotation here. Okay, alrighty. So when you sign up, we provide you with your own username and password. I'm logged in as one such fictitious user of the uLaw platform, Mr. Roger Moore, who's the lawyer. And as soon as I've logged in, you're welcomed by this dashboard. That's a configurable dashboard based on your needs. You can have the latest news that you need. You can have specific aspects of your business that you need top of mind. So recently modified contacts gives you the ability to quickly jump into these contacts. Let's say you were working on it over the long weekend. Getting into this particular contact should be pretty straightforward. Okay. Likewise, you have modified matters. If you've been working on a client file or a matter, you can jump right into that matter at a click of that link. Okay, so this, as you can see right on the left-hand side of our overall menu, you can see we've now jumped into the Matters section of uLaw. Now, a more recent addition to the dashboard is so that you can take faster actions. I'll draw your attention to this particular aspect where it says Matter Analytics. So this gives you a quick snapshot of the overall financial aspects of this matter as it stands. So this particular court visit AJ64497, you can clearly see that there was an invoice raised and it was partially paid, leaving a balance of $1,000 that's still not paid for the past 2 days. And there was actually in fact, there was a deposit in trust initially of $1,000, and then there was an invoice generated, and $220 was retrieved, and out of which $29.60 is still pending trust transfer, and the client owes you $970. Okay. If I move into another matter, you can see this is just a brand new matter, and there's no information yet, and so on and so forth. So this is a fast, easy way for you to appreciate and understand the financial elements of a matter right from the dashboard. And it's not only a matter of understanding, it's also a matter of being able to take the action. If I go back to my court visit and I notice that there's $29 worth of eligible trust fund that's sitting, I can just simply go ahead and take that action of moving that $29.60 from my trust account into my general account. So you could do this right from the dashboard, even without having to go into the other aspects of the UI components of uLaw. Likewise, I'll draw your attention to invoice pending matters, which is yet another very commonly used dashboard element within the uLaw platform. And this dashboard element essentially talks about all of the work that you've put in, but you have not yet generated an invoice. And I'm sure you can appreciate that the invoice is that legal document that you produce to send to your client or otherwise to make sure that you're able to showcase the effort and the work that you've done to either do your trust transfers or wait for a payment to be received from your client. So for example, if you look at this particular Disho versus John, you notice that a invoice has not yet been generated, and there you go. You can click on that little icon here, knowing that this invoice has not been generated, and go straight into generating that invoice. So you're not wasting time at all. In some cases, legal firms or law firms who have front office staff would essentially just have them focus on this dashboard item and make sure that this particular dashboard item is always empty, because that means you've really caught up on all your invoices. So you can go right here, skip the preview or review it, ensure that it looks good in terms of the overall invoice layout. And of course, if you're happy with the overall pre-bill, go back in and you can directly get into generating an invoice. You can backdate this if you have to. So the dashboard in uLaw pretty much gives you the front view of your back office. Okay? And it also now gives you the ability to take actions based on the data that you're seeing in that front view of your back office. Here it is. You've got your invoice generated right from the dashboard without even having to go into that file. Okay, so this is really an easy, fast way for you to navigate, maneuver, as well as take action on all of the work that you've done within your firm, right from that front page. Now I'll move your attention to contacts. We spoke about how client intake is very important. Really is your first step into starting to generate revenue for your business, your first step in the door of a conversation that you may have with a prospective client. And uLaw, having evolved over these 10 years, has improvised many different ways in which this particular client intake process can be simplified and can be made easier. Of course, post-COVID, we've seen a major reduction in the number of folks who walk into a law office or a legal office. You know, pre-COVID, where you had a physical office, people would walk into the office and you would simply just talk to them person to person and be able to take all of the information regarding themselves, pertinent information that you need as a legal firm, so that you can go ahead with doing your conflict checks and determining if this is a good match for you to represent, right? So we still definitely look forward to that life coming back, and then we still have that opportunity for you to go in and take your client intake. So let's say this is John Smithson. You could say source of contact. How did Mr. John get to know you? So maybe it was family. Okay. Take some basic information about this particular client and click the Save button so that you save this prospective client information as part of that overall client intake process. Post-COVID, of course, we've been approached by our clients, many clients who are more working in the digital space now, where they're able to send everything electronically, right from invoices to receipts to many statement of activities and PDF documents. And one of the aspects that they had asked for is, can we make the whole client intake process more digital? And to do that, we've introduced this client portal as a new feature, where all you have to do is understand or get to know the email address of your prospective client. And you may retrieve this by just having a contact us widget on your website, where you do ask for first name, last name, and their email address. And once you've reviewed it, if you want to send them a thorough client intake form with a lot more of information, you can do so, and we give you your own secret key so that no one can mimic this, as this allows data to be entered automatically back into your uLaw system. So essentially, you would copy this link and you would use your Gmail or Hotmail, Outlook, whatever email features that you have. I've even set up a template called the client intake email. And all you have to do is just paste this new link that we send you and send it to that client. Okay? That's it. Just send them this email. And just within a matter of a few seconds, your client would digitally receive this email from your legal firm or your law firm. And of course, this being digitally available on email, if you've got your different devices connected to your email, your client may see this on their watch, you see it on your iPad, wherever it's connected. And you can see this is a unique link that they would then click on. And this is very responsive. You could clearly see, I'll take the quick information. I'll say Jasmine Aladdin. Pre-populate that information. And again, whatever information is pertinent, put a cell phone number. All right. And any information that you want to capture from your prospective client. So you could say, looking to get my will drafted. Okay. Newspaper, or I could say even better, Facebook. Okay, so maybe you're actively promoting your business on Facebook groups, and it always helps to get this kind of information to help yourself have a better appreciation for the different marketing channels that are working for you to generate interest, leads, etc. And you can always say what kind of identification or government ID is this person looking or willing to provide. Right? Acknowledging and then ensuring that they retype the exact email that they had originally provided. They make sure that they say they're not a robot, and then all that your prospective client has to do is submit. And then we could see, we also make sure that it's the right quality of data that's coming in. Quality of data is very important, especially when it's in electronic means. So we even look for bad apples in terms of if this particular postal code is not valid. That way, we're ensuring the sanity of the data that's coming into your system. So imagine you being able to send the client intake form. Your client enters this information at their own leisure at home. Don't have to meet them in person. Don't have to even speak over the phone. Okay? And what happens is you get notified as soon as your client has entered that information. Clearly says Jasmine Aladdin, it's completed the registration, that's the email, that's all, the phone number. Please verify this information in your uLaw platform. All you have to do is go into your uLaw platform once you see that email. Right? Probably takes a few extra seconds for it to refresh. This data is now entering your own uLaw database in a very secure manner. And there you see in the most recently modified contacts, you have the information of Jasmine. So what we've done is we have taken what was otherwise an in-person client intake application or over the phone, and we've digitized this to a point where you can send information in a secure way back and forth and accept that information from prospective clients. Of course, once you have this basic information, if you do understand more, you can always add to this information, right? You know from here all the information you've got. Submit a driver's license, looking for a will drafted on Facebook group. You take that, essentially use the right source of contact. You've got all the other information. Make this the mailing address. It becomes the correspondence. After that basic information, right, you are able to now massage that data and make that data a little bit more prudent based on the information you have. Alrighty, so now you have the information. Let's move along to the next step of the compliant component of the business. So the Law Society requires you to do what's called as a conflict check to make sure that there are no conflicts in representing this client. So let's say we do a quick first name, last name conflict check. The uLaw, when you do a conflict check with uLaw, it's a very comprehensive check. You can check for first name, last name. You can check if you've ever come across such an individual in other matters, maybe as a witness or otherwise. You can check if you've ever created a file or a matter for someone similar to this individual, Jasmine. So uLaw does a thorough check and provides you with a PDF document that outlines and gives you the information. You, of course, being the legal practitioner, would have to make an informed decision based on the data that we provide. Right? So we can't restrict you from or stop you from creating a client or moving forward with the file, but as per the Law Society's needs, we date stamp this document. And here's some examples of other Jasmines in the system. And you can see that there's a Jasmine Aladdin, in fact. So you can do some further research. You can see this one was a Aladdin with a single L and double D. This is a double L ADIN. Of course, we give you the ability to search up your contacts, all that good stuff, to make an informed decision. So typically what clients would do is they would do some further research. So here are the different Jasmines, right? And then make an informed decision about moving forward or not. Let's assume you kind of decided to move forward with this matter. You go to the next step of creating a matter or a file, let's call it, for the specific client. And you know that they're looking for will. You can mark that particular area of practice as in wills and estate. And you could say, okay. And once you save, uLaw creates our own Law Society compliant unique file number, which pretty much becomes the reference point for all of the information that you want to retrieve for this specific client's matter, okay, regarding this particular draft of a will. And now you can go about however you choose to execute this file, whether you want to ask for an initial retainer or whether you actually do the work, send them an invoice, and then wait for the payment. Those would be determined based on the engagement rules that you want to set up with this particular client. But whatever route that you may decide to take, all the documents, all the necessary steps that you have to take based on the route that you've decided, uLaw helps you right from get-go, till end of statement of activity, right from here. So you can generate a retainer letter. In fact, there are letters for various other types of engagements. You can generate these in PDF, even in Word, if you have to tweak this. and we pretty much mail merge all of the information into this template with your own letterhead. So you can personalize the overall letterhead with your own letterhead as well as a logo if you have. Of course, this is just meant to be a funny version of a Roger Moore logo for James Bond. But I apologize if that did not tickle your funny bone. You can see right here, without even having to go in and create a document and draft it yourself, we help by getting you started. This by no means is a comprehensive or a specific template that we want you to stick to. You can take this initial version that we provide you based on, of course, this has come through the work that we've put in the last 10, 11 years, the information provided to us by all of our clients. So it's a very comprehensive, collective, informative set of documents. Let me put it that way. If there's no retainer letter, you can also sign up engagement letters. Right? You can have documents that support it. If you're looking for other types of compliance documents right at the matter level, you can generate it at a click of a button. If you want to produce a client ID verification document, which is a law society compliant document that pretty much asks you as to how did you determine this to be, what verification of identity document did you use? So you can see all of the information pre-populated. Right? You didn't even have to worry about all of this. You just say we got the driver's license, and you make this document as part of that file. So you can either save this locally, or within uLaw you can connect it to your own third-party document storage systems under the Documents tab. Now let's say we go ahead and doing work initially. So we'll say draft of will, and I'll just add one single document, initial discussion, will, drafting. This is really where you explain yourself as to what work you've put into that docket, or if a docket encompasses the entire matter, you can put all the information into the single docket. First draft delivered, second draft. Okay. Just making this up as we go. And uLaw allows you to not only have flexibility in how you docket, but gives you flexibility in terms of how you want to charge for the overall docket/matter. Assuming that the single docket represents all the work that you've done for this matter, you can even toggle this. You can say, I spent, 3 hours on this, and I'm going to charge you 3 hours at the $400 rate. Or if you feel to stay competitive, you're going to provide a flat rate, $600 plus tax. You can convert this overall docket now into a flat rate docket, and then say it's $600. If there are any disbursements in addition to that, you can go ahead and add those disbursements. You can pay them from trust if there is money in trust. In this case, let's just say this is a actual fax that was done. 20 copies. And being a business accounting software in this single screen, you can essentially accomplish the tasks that you would otherwise enter into two different systems. So the top part is where you're dispersing the client, and the bottom part here is where you're telling your own business how you paid for it. If, let's say you went to Canada Post, okay, so I'm going to say no expense, and that's it. So now you've got a docket, a flat rate docket plus a disbursement, and that's what gets added when you look at your overall pre-bill. So if I go back to my dashboard, you're going to see drafting a will as a potential matter for which you've actually entered dockets and disbursements that is waiting to be invoiced. And it's the same information. So let's preview it. The pre-bill, of course, gives you the power of having to generate that invoice, but without actually generating an invoice number. It's for your eyes only. Law firms use it where maybe the front office assistant would generate pre-bill, send it to the lawyer, get it approved, and then generate the invoices. So you've got the $600 flat rate docket, has all the information, making it easier for your customer to understand the work that's gone in. Disbursement in terms of what was the actual disbursement and the overall amount due. Having your own digital signature and all the good stuff. Okay. You can see the status being invoice pending because if there's invoices not yet generated, let's go ahead and generate a complete invoice. And of course, there's a lot of flexibility in how you invoice. You can invoice just the dockets. You can invoice just the disbursements. So you see this right under this option. There's flexibility in not only how you docket, and how you bill, and there's flexibility in how you invoice as well. And I'll download this particular document, this invoice. And again, going into our digital world, I can have these templates set up all day long. Right? I can simply just drag and drop that particular PDF document into my email. And I can send that digital file to my client. And there you go. Now it doesn't end there. Of course, you need to get paid for this. And if you integrate uLaw with any of our preferred third-party payment gateway partners, and we partner with TD, we partner with New Way Payments, Global Payments, and there's a few more partnerships that we have, and that's you don't have to pay uLaw any penny more than the subscription fees that we ask you. So this is free of charge. You would just pay these payment gateways a fee on the actual amount, transaction fees. So facilitating that integration now, in this case we've integrated with Monaris, I believe. So you could just go ahead and say, and the client essentially can just pay the $700 at a click of a button. Right? Today we buy all of this, whether that's Skip the Dishes or Uber Eats. There's just so much online payment transaction that we're so used to. We're looking to bring that into the legal world where it's secure, fast, and it's easier for you as the business owner to be able to collect your funds faster in a secure manner. So it's a great user experience for your client, and it's also a great business experience for you because you don't have to wait, you don't have to send them an invoice in mail, get payment done back in a check, etc. Okay? Or if you want to do the old school way, you can still do that. You can come in here, accept payments, and let's say they give you a check. That's very much still a possibility. Let's say they mailed you a check, goes directly into your general account. You can give them a receipt. There you go. There's various different user templates that you could use for these documents. Oh, sorry. Now let's say this is the completion or the logical closure to this particular workflow of this matter. So you've got a client intake done online. There's a will draft. You did all the work. It was a flat rate plus disbursements, and the client just mailed you a check, or you could have it digitally paid through a credit card online. And you've accepted the payment into your firm's legal accounting, and you've sent them a receipt. For payment, essentially you would come in here and you can generate some closing documents. You could say settlement account statement or statement of activity, along with all the receipts and invoices can be sent. You can see this is the only statement of activity, right? And if you've sent all that information, you can simply send them a closing letter along with the statement of activity. And once you've sent that out, you can essentially come in here and mark this as closed. Of course, it's not an ideal situation to be able to start a matter and close it within 30 minutes, but for purposes of demo, at least we want to showcase to you that we have tools, the bells and whistles, to enable you to do everything that you need in a very logical, compliant manner. Okay? But your responsibilities don't end here. Okay? What's important is all the compliance aspect that go behind the scene, especially from a financial perspective. Your reconciliations, your ledgers and journals that you have to generate for both general and especially your trust account. So if you really look at our accounting back, we allow you to add all of your expenses. And now you can start to add office expenses. So let's say that you had any office supplies purchase. And let's say this was purchased at Amazon. And maybe this was a debit card payment. We not only capture the actual amount that you paid, but we also capture the tax that you paid. And this is very interesting. And if you notice, from this matter, you had the $78 of payment. Just mark this open again. So you received $78 and you've just paid $39. And in uLaw, I can simply go in and say, I want to understand my, again, assuming that Roger Moore is in the province of Ontario, I could go ahead and say, for this month of April, I would like my HST document. Because this would vary based on your specific cycle of payment. This could be monthly, quarterly, but if you really notice, let me just zoom in. We've pretty much captured the purchase of the printer for the $39 that you paid, and we've also captured the $78 in terms of the money received from Jasmine. And likewise, we do so for each and every transaction that we capture of both money coming in or taxes coming in and taxes leaving your business. And these are the HST, GST, PST provincial taxes, of course. And we tell you in a snapshot that based on all the transactions, that if you were to file your taxes, you would owe the government about $499. Right? So that makes it easier for you to reconcile why that amount, how did it come about. So you just received this huge $457 HST from this legal fee work that you did, right? Not only that, if you look at our compliance and look at our monthly compliance series of documents that are just built into the platform, you can clearly see we do the trust, the general, the journals, but most importantly, your reconciliation. Okay? If I do my trust reconciliation, what uLaw does is it captures each and every transaction that has entered and left your trust account as per the data that you have provided us. So you received, so money was taken out of the trust account for a trust transfer. That was money again that was withdrawn. Once again, a trust transfer. You received a retainer of $665, another retainer of $3,000. So you could see the combination of transactions, and it's so simple for you to open this particular screen, open a TD or RBC or whatever financial institution's online statement, or have their offline statement printed out and just compare them. And maybe this was not on the 23rd and this was on the 24th. You can clearly make those changes one at a time. Just provide us the overall bank balance as per your financial institution's statement, and you're ready to reconcile. And once you reconcile, we generate that particular monthly reconciliation statement exactly in the same expected template by the Law Society. Now you're staying compliant by ensuring that you're reconciling on a monthly basis. The same thing applies to general reconciliation, and you probably have a few transactions that are familiar from today's demo. Right? So if you notice the client payment that you received of $700.60, and there's a purchase of $339 from that same account. So these are the two transactions that we had entered into the system, and you can see how it's now moved into the reconciliation, right? So this is a trust reconciliation statement. And let me just walk you through this. And we've done separate webinars that specifically focus on the reconciliation process and everything else, but just letting you know, not only do we give you the balances, the trust listing, we also color-code it, notifying you of how old these balances have been under these client names. So for example, Toby McGuire has had a balance of $789 for God knows how long. It's been almost 6 years now. So the Law Society does talk about the need for you to approach these different clients, especially if their trust balances have been pretty old and sitting on your bank, to let them know that after a certain time, give them a refund of that retainer or whatever the situation is, provide that money back with a closing statement, especially if it's an ongoing matter, that's a different thing. But if your last statement of activity for these and the balance of this particular matter was 6 years back, and that's why they want you to capture the last statement, the last date of activities here. So let me just draw your attention to the name of this column. So it's called last activity date. So if Toby, the last activity date was 1st December 2015, chances are something was wrong here. So it's been almost 6 years since you've been able to do any work with this client. So maybe a candidate for you to approach back, send them a refund of a retainer for this matter that they were working with, and then call it a day. Okay. Same thing applies to your general reconciliation. And once you've completed the reconciliation statement, generating the ledgers and journals in uLaw is just a matter of clicking a button. So many of our clients ensure that they reconcile on a monthly basis, but they generate these documents sometimes at the day before their audit or sometimes during the day of the audit, because you can be very confident of the nature and prudence of the data behind these reports as long as you've done the right job of reconciling on a monthly basis. So here is a quick trust ledger of all your clients, exactly in the template that's required to be submitted or prepared. So for example, if you look at Adam Jones, you clearly see there's a couple of trust transfers that was done this month. And this is pertaining to the work done this month, right? We can even do this if you're looking for a specific client. Typically, Law Society documents are done within a time period, so it's typically a monthly or a quarterly. But if you really have a specific client, Adam Jones, and you want to generate the reconciliation or the ledger for Adam Jones, you can do something specific and exclusive just to that matter or to that client. Okay? And the same thing applies to journals, same thing applies to certain jurisdictional documents, such as Form 9A. So anytime you do electronic fund transfers, especially in the province of Ontario, you're required to fill out this Form 9A. And we pretty much do a click of a button, and we give you all the Form 9As that have happened this month. In this case, there was just one. And you can just print this. There's just much more to the overall platform itself. You could docket, you could capture, and you do your client intake right from your phone. You can draw a lot of analytics from the system. As I mentioned before, you can also generate all of the CRA documents that are needed for you as a Canadian business, right from balance sheet, trial balance, to revenue, expense, P&L. We have a very comprehensive and thorough aging report that tells you who owes you how much money or what period of time. And you can also do a quick invoice balance report that tells you how much of money, who owes you that much money, are there any pending trust transfers where you have not yet moved money from trust to general. Okay. And last but not the least, we spoke about the analytics. Having consumed all of this data, having looked at all the data that you entered, uLaw is able to provide you simple insights, convert the data into information, and provide it to you in a format that's consumable both on a laptop, web interface, as well as a very comprehensive dashboarding capability right on your mobile phone in our app. Okay? So if you want to understand the P&L insight really quick without generating big report documents, you can do so. You can say right away, you notice that it's in profitable mode this month. That's the total profit. That's the income, that's the expense. And you notice that the $300 was the Xerox printer that we purchased because $39 was taxes. And you can go further deep into understanding the revenue and the expense. So you can understand, where did this revenue come from this month? Right? We talk about the income being $4,140. Where did that come from? This is how it came about. Wilson Estate. This was the matter that we just did. You can draw pie charts. So a good 85% came from civil matter. The remaining 15% almost came from Wilson Estate. Okay? And you can compare it with the previous month. You can say, how did I do over this quarter or this year compared to this month? If you want to do so. So for this entire year, that was just a matter of a few seconds. You realize that civil brought you almost $8,000, immigrations and visa, assuming that you have this kind of a widespread area of practice that you focus on. And you can do that for expenses. So if you want to understand your expense by category, you can do so. Really understand, where are you spending a lot of your money. You can see this month it was office supplies. If you were to compare it against the year, you could have a nice side-by-side comparison, which says, all right, typically your office supplies is about 20%, but for this month, it's 100% of that is office supplies. But so far this year, it's come out of printing and stationery being the largest category of expenses. Okay? But this drop-down has so much more to offer in terms of insights and analytics that's all deriving out of all the data that's residing in your own uLaw platform. So with that, I'll kind of draw a conclusion to today's getting started with uLaw. There's just so much more. We'd love for you to explore it if you haven't already. We have a very strong support team that helps you right from getting started with bringing data from third-party systems if you must, with setting you up with the uLaw platform, helping you and navigating you through demonstrations needed. We have quite a few self-serve help, a lot of videos that you could do some self-study. If that's overwhelming, then you just give us a call or email us, which is faster, and we will do our best to support you through this journey of compliance and ease of mind when it comes to managing your business. So with that, I'll kind of draw today's webinar to an end, and if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them at this particular time. Okay. If there are any questions, well, thank you so much for joining today's webinar. We look forward to seeing you at our next webinar next Friday at 2 p.m. Thank you very much.